Hey, Tim Sykes here with another video lesson. I'm actually filming this the evening of January 3rd. I'll be posting it on January 4th. I've got a crazy day on January 4th. I'm traveling a little bit. So I want to review this because I'm getting so many questions about IDXG. This is what it did all in one day. From the 4s pre-market up to 14, and post-market it's down to the 6s. And it closed, in the 7s and 8s. Crazy, 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 crazy volatility. And you need to get used to it. You should not be scared of it. You can take advantage of it and you can profit quite a bit, as my students have learned to do. This is the ideal kind of volatility. This is the ideal kind of volume. It traded nearly 20 million shares today. So this isn't like some illiquid little penny stock. This is a very actively traded, very volatile penny stock. And for as much as the world hates on penny stocks, guess what? I've been cataloging this exact pattern for 2 decades. It made me a millionaire, and now it's made several of my students millionaires. So you have to study the past to be better prepared for the future. People can make fun of my video lessons and my DVDs and me. I don't care as long as you study the past. Because right now we're going to be talking about this pattern in this stock. This play is done with right now, okay? So if you're asking, what do I do now? I don't care. The stock is done. When it goes from 4 to 14, that is best case scenario. After that, it is dead to me. It's a potential short, sure, but I couldn't find any shares to short, and I wasn't even really looking for shares to short. This stuff is scary to short. What you have to do is plan it from start to finish. And that is where my trader checklist guide comes in. I'm going to analyze this stock in just a little bit, the ups and the downs of how I would have traded this, how I would have planned this. I didn't even trade it, mind you, okay? I traded VBIO. I made my little few $100s on my $5,000 account that I'm starting with this year. Grew my small account nearly 10% in one day. I made a video lesson about that yesterday. Today we're going to be talking about IDXG, and I'll go over it using the trader checklist guidelines. If you have not seen my trader checklist guide, you just have to go to traderchecklist.com, okay? It is free right now. You go to traderchecklist.com and you watch it because it is 11 hours. I will not repeat this again. It will not be free in a little bit. So please take advantage of this. Also, please take advantage of this Profitly sale. 30, 40, 50, 60% off annual newsletters and DVDs. It's not going to last more than a few more days. I'm tired of everybody procrastinating. I'm tired of everybody asking, please just extend it. I'm extending it because I'm a nice guy and I want you to invest in your education. But at some point, it's like, come on, guys. You either want to learn or you don't. And these savings should push you over the edge. If these savings don't push you over the edge, then these testimonials should, because my students made over $150,000 today. Here's just a couple of them. I know there's many more, but I want to get to analyzing the stock. Brooks, awesome job. He made 20 grand last time IDXG went up. Now he made 6 grand today. Vitali traded a few stocks. Look at this. Cutting losses on a few of them. Big gain on IDXG. He gets it. And he has a good attitude. I was like, awesome work. And he says, thank you, Tim, for everything. Well, Vitali, I'm nothing without my students who study. So I appreciate your hard work. Lee, I got to give this guy props. He's trading with a smaller account, but that's okay too. It doesn't have to be all about making thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. And he made nearly $1,000, and he took 30%. Stanley also made 2,300. Got to give him props. Austin made 2K. I love this guy, Eric Russell. He started with just $5,000 last year to begin the year. He's one of my most dedicated students. And, he also values his family. But here were his trades. He made $630 on this one and then $1,430 on this one. So it's pretty freaking sweet. There's more, here's Champ. He's actually studying on his Xbox, which I love. And I'll go over this. He's actually using the SSS tool, which we have on Profitly, and I'll be using this in a second to analyze IDXG. You can use it in real time. You can use it after the fact. You can use it before, ideally. And that way you start planning your trades ahead of time. Also got to give props to Pecunium in the chat room. They made $1,790. And then also Mika Koka has a smaller account, but took a nice gain in here. I'm loving the fact that my students were buying this in the fives. You saw the breakout. Wait, one of my students had a nice chart. Where was it? Brandon. Brandon has been on fire. He spotted the VBIO breakout the other day. And here is, the IDXG breakout. Okay, look at this. Pre-market highs. This is literally all you have to do in this bull market. It is so fucking easy right now. It pisses me off that many of you guys aren't checking the previous highs. The pre-market highs on IDXG, 550 breakout level. I missed it because I was in VBIO. Let me show you his other chart. Brandon posted another chart. Where was it? Right here on VBIO. And he said, almost like it's predictable. Am I right, Timothy Sykes? Yeah, you're right. This was VBIO's breakout, 2-day breakout over 250, and it went all the way up to the 320s. And you had two chances to buy it, either on the initial breakout or on, the confirmation where it holds 250-ish. You guys just have to look at past resistance. It boggles my mind that you guys aren't doing it, some of you. But anyways, props to you guys in the chat room. Here's Michael. He made like 640. And I want to be clear about this. There were many short sellers I saw in other chat rooms that were getting destroyed, shorting IDXG too early, shorting DRYS, and a lot of these other shippers too early. I don't want to see anybody lose. I don't want to see anybody blow up. I don't care if you think that you're my enemy. Nobody is my enemy, okay? I'm pro-education. Unless you're anti-education, then you're my enemy. But anybody who wants to learn, anybody who wants to make money in the market, you're not my enemy. We're on the same side. I want you to do as well as you can. And it pisses me off when these wannabes and these amateur short sellers make it look tougher than it is by shorting these low float stocks like on morning one, day one. I saw people shorting this being like, oh, IDXG has no fundamentals. I'm going to short it, at 550 as it's breaking the day high. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, like somebody needs to talk them out of their madness. Like never short a low float stock on morning one, especially when IDXG has just been a recent supernova, the past few weeks. These aren't hard rules. These are just things that you don't drive my Lamborghini 300 miles an hour or 200 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. Or you don't go as fast as you can when you see kids crossing the street. I mean, you don't short a low float recent supernova on morning one. You're making all short sellers look bad. You're making all penny stock traders look bad. There are some people who are like, Tim, this is why short selling is so dangerous. Yeah, if you break all my rules combined all at once, yeah, short selling is dangerous. But if you follow the rules, it's really not. I have to remind you guys that Michael Good, my first millionaire student, and I were both short KBIO the very day it spiked from 2 to 10 after hours. And the next morning it was at 20. And we both had sizable short positions overnight. And guess what? We cut our losses quickly. We only lost a few $1,000s each. And some other people who don't necessarily believe in my rules or follow my rules, they got destroyed. They lost 6 and 7 figures. So please, be careful. Don't ignore my rules. And if you do, guess what? You're going to see the ultimate price is far more expensive than any of the prices that I charge for my teaching. You can either learn from the market or you can learn from me. Either way, you're going to learn. And I'm not teaching you rules that don't work. I'm teaching you rules that I've learned the hard way by myself over 20 years now, okay? But also, it's not just about short sellers. I don't want to see any trader blow up. I really want you guys to understand that you can trade cowardly and trade scared. And Miles is like, you mean carefully and precise? And I say, well, you can be as careful and precise as you want, but I see far too much aggressiveness. So I prefer cowardly all the time. I know it's not cool in our society to be coward. I know it's not cool in the trader world to be a coward, but when you're trading absolutely insane stocks like this, trading cowardly isn't just an option, It's a necessity. Otherwise, you will blow up. Maybe not on this one, maybe not on the next one, but eventually, and for the rest of your life. And I don't want to see that happen. So please just learn my rules. They're really not that crazy, and they're here to help you. I'm here to help you. That's why my Trader Checklist Guide is free, in case you don't remember that. TraderChecklist.com. It's free for a few more days only. So you have to watch it. Please just do it. You'll thank me later. Anyways, let's analyze IDXG at the moment of the breakout. Because frankly, you look at this and be like, oh, Tim, when should you buy? I mean, you didn't know it was going to go from 5 to 14. No, I didn't know it was going to go from 5 to 14. When I buy, my goal is to make 10, 20, 30% max. And I know many of you, again, think that's too cowardly. As I'm trying to explain, that's not cowardly. That's what's kept me in the game all these years, and that's what keeps my accounts growing pretty much every year. So I don't expect this thing to go from 5 to 14. But what I do like is buying the breakout, okay? And the pre-market highs were 560. If you wait for the exact breakout here, you're going to miss it. This stock moves quickly, especially near the market open. So 550 is good enough. I mean, you can see the morning high here is 561, and then like the mid-morning high here is like 555. I like round numbers. I would have put my limit at 550 if I had not been in VBIO and I was focusing on this play. So look to see what the past resistance is. And you can go back and look at multiple days here. I'm using Stocks to Trade. Please use Stocks to Trade software, okay? I'm getting way too many questions from people with all different kinds of software and all different kinds of craziness. It's just easier. And trust me, Stocks to Trade is the best. No other platform has as many features, nor do they have as many features in the process of being completed. So you can either buy it here, at roughly 5.5. You can see here it tried to bounce past 550 right in here, and it couldn't do it. So 550, just call that the breakout, just for simplicity's sake. If I had been buying it at 550, I would not have been holding it to 14. I would not have been holding it to 12. I would not have even been holding it to 10. I would be in at 550 with the goal of selling here in the mid sixes, max, to make $1 a share, 20%. This would have been my trade. So even if I had done it, okay, and understand that I'm trading with a $5,000 account primarily in 2017. So if I'm trading with a $5,000 account, at most, I would be buying, let's say, 600 shares here. And I would try to make $600, $1 a share. And I would have gotten it. Instead, I made $400 on VBIO. So it doesn't matter. But with a $5,000 account, or many of you guys are trading with a smaller account, you just have to aim to make a few $100s. It adds up over time. Don't go for home runs. But let's analyze. Pattern and price. If I had been buying this at 550, and I know many of you are like, well, Tim, you know what it was going to do, so you can't go back in time, and that's hindsight trading. Well, I don't care if it went to 14. As I said, I would have been out at 650 max. Even if it didn't get to 650, that doesn't change the way that I'm going to prepare for it. Pretend I have no idea what the stock is going to do. That still does not affect the way that I would prepare for it any differently. So yes, you can go back in time and analyze what the stock would have looked like at your time of potential trading. And it's very good for you guys to review this after the fact, because the breakout was there, okay? I mean, you can look at this from my freaking student, Brandon. He hasn't been trading that long, and he's spotting the breakouts very nicely. Where was it? And he's watched Trader Checklist, by the way. Where was his Trader Checklist? Right there. Look at this. He's got some badass pictures, and he's got Trader Checklist open. And he says, you have to do what others won't to achieve what others don't. Wow. Look at this. Brandon, good stuff, man. I'm sorry I didn't see this sooner. And I'm getting like literally 300 or 400 tweets, sometimes 500 tweets lately every few hours. So I'm sorry if I miss your tweets. I know some of you guys have been like, oh, respond to my tweet. I'm overwhelmed. Here's Brandon, and this is the clear 550 break, okay? Pre-market highs, classic morning breakout. So look at the pre-market highs and look to see if the volume is huge, which it is. This is a recent supernova. They have some good news today. Ignore all the nasty trolls on Twitter and other websites where they're like, you should never buy junk. Really? You're not going to buy a stock that goes from 4 to 14 just because it's junk? You're narrow-minded. And if I don't say it, someone else probably should. Because it's pathetic that some people literally believe that you should never buy stocks like this. And they're ignoring this company's and this stock's spikeability where it fucking triples in 3 hours. And CNBC doesn't talk about stocks like this, and most financial media doesn't want to talk about stocks like this, and they're talking about shit stocks that don't triple. Forget about tripling in 3 hours. They don't triple in 3 years. They don't triple in 3 months. They don't triple in a decade. Those are the stocks that the majority of people trade, and that's why the majority of people who trade lose. So if you learn to focus on volatile stocks and you trade these volatile stocks like a fucking coward, like I'm saying, there's some beauty in there, and there's some predictability and success, as you can see from me and my students. Anyways, let's analyze this. Pattern and price. If I had been buying this at 550, it would be a morning breakout with a contract win, with volume on a recent supernova. It doesn't get any better than that. 20 out of 20. And if you're lost when I analyze this, it's because you haven't seen my trader checklist guide, which I've been trying to push you to watch for the past fucking 3 months. So yeah, I'm a little frustrated that so few of you have watched it. Risk reward. If I had been buying this at 550 right here, my risk is that it doesn't keep breaking out. It just fake outs. And so it comes down here, right here, 520. So if my goal is to make $1 a share, which it would have been, and my risk was, I would say like 20 cents a share. So if it fails right at the market open or near the market open, you got to be willing to get out. If it's not going to definitively break this 550 level, you get out at 540 or 530. In this case, you didn't have to. I mean, it had nothing but green candles and it kept going up. So you wouldn't have had to pull the trigger to get out. But you need to be prepared to get out if that sometimes happens. So, risk reward, $1 of upside and 20 cents of downside, 5-to-1 risk reward. That's pretty damn good. As it turned out, there was no downside and, $9 a share of upside. But we didn't know this, okay? So pretend like you don't know that this is going to 14. Your whole goal is to sell it at 650, and if you're wrong, you're out at 530. 5-to-1 risk reward is pretty damn good. 18 out of 20. Ease of entry and exit. So this is where a lot of people are trading penny stocks, and they're like, Tim, it's so scary to trade these stocks. If you're trading a stock that trades 5, 10, 15, 20 million shares, it's very easy to get in and out. The only problem with this is that it moves kind of quickly. So be it. I'll give this a 7 out of 10 just because it does move quickly. You might have to exit if it did have a red candle. You have to be willing to get out, within a minute or two if you need to. Past performance history of spiking. This is one of the biggest supernovas recent memory, so it's a 10 out of 10. What time is it? Personal schedule. For me, obviously personal schedule is different for everybody, but today, January 3rd, I was not traveling. I could trade. Unfortunately, I was in VBIO, so I was a little busy with my other trade. But tomorrow, when I'm posting this on January 4th, I'll be traveling, so my personal schedule will be shit. So you have to choose based on your own schedule. This is going to be a different number for everybody. But for morning spikes, also morning spikes, were very in vogue, very popular a few months ago. But the past few weeks, it's actually been better to dip buy in the morning. Those morning dip buys have outperformed morning spikes. So it's not a perfect 20. My personal schedule might have been clear today, but I was in another trade, which, frankly made me miss this. And also, morning spikes aren't what they used to be. So I'll give this a 15 out of 20 based on me personally. This number is going to change for everybody. Reason catalyst, you got a nice press release, you have volume, you have the technical breakout. It doesn't get any better than this, especially on a low float stock. Market environment, again, 10 out of 10. It is ripe. This is a 90 out of 100. This is the highest rating any stock has ever gotten since I started doing this on Trader Checklists. So I want you to understand that. And also understand, again, it's not an exact science. Maybe because the stock moves so fast, maybe you can say the risk reward is like a 16 out of 20. And ease of entry and exit, maybe it's more like an 8 out of 10. And past performance, well, that should be a 10 no matter what. Personal schedule, I mean, maybe I could give it a 16. Reason catalyst, it's not like the biggest agreement in the world. Maybe we'll drop that down to an 8. But no matter how you slice it, it's high up there, whether it's an 80, 85, 90, 95. And for me, when you have a play like this, you want to take it. I'm not saying if you have a score rated like 95 out of 100, you go much bigger than a play rated a 90. That's totally up to you. All of trading is about you. Make trading work for you and what makes you comfortable. All I'm trying to do is explain what works for me. But like these students here, Brandon likes spotting these chart breakouts. Eric makes $2,000 and then he's done for the day because he values spending time with his boys. And I know some other people that might be like, hey, I want to make $5,000. I don't have any boys. That's cool. Don't judge Eric though, because he has his values and priorities in place. Austin made $2,000 and he was like crazy. He's like, damn, he doesn't even understand it. Look at him. He's a kid from Tennessee. Look at it. Look at Austin. This guy's making freaking $2,000 in a day. Are you serious? He doesn't even own a suit. I love it. Here's Stanley. He made $2,000, okay? And he took the meat of the movie, bought 1,000 shares. So you have to choose what's right for you. And that's why I show all of these different students. Lee is trading with a smaller account, but he still made nearly $1,000. Vitali, this was not his only trade of the day. He tried some other ones, but he was wrong on those. But this is a damn good play. A lot of people will be like, oh, Vitali, this sucks. You were only right on 1 out of 4 stocks. Okay, so he's right on 1 out of 4 stocks, but look at his losses on his other 3. Losing $20, losing $20, losing $20, and then he makes $1,500. So it's perfectly fine to be wrong on a few stocks as long as you cut losses quickly and your gains are bigger than your losses, as Vitali is learning. And Brooks, I got to give him props. I mean, he made like 20, literally, I highlighted him when IDXG was initially spiking, and he made like $20,000. He turned, I think it was like $5,000 into $25,000. Where was it? Hold up, let's see him. And look at this guy. Look at him with his freaking Snapchat glasses on. He withdrew half of his funds from his 25K account. Hold up, I gotta find that picture. So he made 5K, 1,000. What was his other one? This was his first one on IDXG. Okay, December 9th. So not even a month ago. And he bought it at 33 cents, got out, held the next day. Now he's past the PDT rule. And he says, got to thank the Timothy Sykes chat room for the pickup. All of you should be in my chat room. In case you don't understand that, we have the largest chat room for a reason. We have the most successful traders for a reason. We share all of our trades for a reason. Transparency is the future. There's a lot of sketchy chat rooms where they post 1 or 2, pics, and they have like 1 or 2 screenshots, and they crop out certain images of the chart. I mean, it's insane the lengths that some people will go to when they don't want to be fully transparent. We try and show everything. And I try and show you, different students with different account sizes and different holding periods. But the whole point of this is to take advantage of the volatility and to make it work for you. I have students with 20 monitors who do this full time, and I think that they're slaves to this, but that's their prerogative. They love it. Let them be slaves. Let them do whatever they want. And there's other people on the end of the spectrum, like me, where I'm traveling all over the world. Sometimes my Wi-Fi isn't great. I'm going to talk about when my Wi-Fi isn't great because it influences my trading. You're only my enemy if you're anti-education. When you think that if I'm on slow Wi-Fi, that doesn't influence my trading, of course it does. Of course it does, and of course I'm going to talk about it because I want you to see how I still trade with slow Wi-Fi. I'm looking at all of my surroundings, all of the indicators, my personal schedule, the stock, the volume, the catalyst, the pattern, the stock's past spikeability. I want to try and consider it all. And because this is not an exact science, sometimes I forget an indicator or two that actually turns out to matter. But if you use this prepare system, this Sykes sliding scale is what I call it, it's very difficult not to get a good total value of the potential trade. And if you have seen my trader checklist guide, you know that anything above 70, anything above 80 is a very good number. And, again, all of this, none of this is dependent on it going to 14, okay? Even though it did go to 14, so yeah, okay, I'm looking back and I know that this is going to be a winner. But I would never have held to 14. Never would I ever hold to 14, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7. I want to teach you to trade cowardly. When I post tweets like this, please remember to trading scare. And I actually have typos. And I know some people get pissed at my typos and my grammar. I have too much shit going on to worry about that. If you're really worried about my grammar or my swearing, seriously, just stop learning from me. Because something I do in the future is going to piss you off. You might as well just leave right now. I will have typos. I will have grammatical errors. But you won't see me trading over aggressively. Trading over aggressively, I think, is a much worse sin than swearing or having little errors or, trading on slow Wi-Fi. Because all of that stuff is real life. That's the beauty of being real, guys. Every single day I have to prove myself because I'm trading penny stocks, because I'm teaching, because I'm short selling, because I'm teaching people to trade like cowards. Pretty much everything I do goes against what most people think. And what I found in 2 decades of trading is that what most people think are wrong. And that's probably why most people lose. So I'm not trying to fit in with other people. I'm not trying to make friends here. I already have enough friends. I'm already overwhelmed. The cool thing about being real in an industry full of scams is that I just have to share with you what works. And many of you guys are seeing that. So today was IDXG. Tomorrow, January 4th, it looks like actually CBay is up a lot after hours. I don't know if it's going to do it. Hold on one sec. Sorry, the stocks to trade software doesn't like this video recording software sometimes. But here is CBay. This is probably going to be tomorrow's biggest winner. You can see it closed at $1.90. It's already up to $2.98 after hours. The news is they got this licensing agreement, and they're getting $15 million up front, and then eligible up to receive up to $190 million. And this is just a little $50 million company. So I'll be watching this, but again, due to my personal schedule, I probably won't be trading it. If I have Wi-Fi on my plane, then maybe. But I'm making this video lesson the night before because I know what my schedule is going to be like tomorrow. So I can't trade at night necessarily, but I can teach you at night. And so CBAY is the #1 play to watch tomorrow. And by the time I even post this video lesson, maybe the play will be over. Maybe it'll fail. But usually every day, especially lately, there's been a hot play. And the question is, can it really run? And at 298, you can see it's right at the former resistance on the 1-year chart. Let's go back and look at the 3-year chart. I mean, it's way off its highs. I don't know if it can really come back, but we'll see. But again, due to my personal schedule, I probably won't be trading it. And that happens sometimes. Life gets in the way. It's not the end of the world. So, in conclusion, today was a freaking awesome day. Congratulations to so many of you on IDXG. I'm so proud of so many of you, whether you're Stanley, Austin, Eric Moore, Champ is studying on the Xbox, Lee is making money, Brandon is making money, Brooks is making money. It's not just about the money, it's the education. And every single one of these supernovas should further your education. So do me a favor right now, leave a comment below this video and type in the word education, because it's interesting to me to see how many people are actually, using these videos and actually watching them till the end. Because it's not just about knowing what hot play is right now. You have to see the ins and the outs. You have to see what other traders are doing. You have to learn the different indicators. It's all interconnected. It's all related. So that's today's lesson on IDXG. I'll be back probably with, maybe another video lesson on CBAY when that plays out, or maybe another one. I'm not always looking to trade, especially when I have, a personal schedule issue, but I'll always be looking for potential trades just so I can learn from them. Even if I'm not personally trading, I want to learn. I want to see, are morning spikes hot right now? Are these little biotechs the hottest right now? It's interesting to me because the market is teaching you every single day. And many of you guys just aren't paying attention because you think that it's only about the money. You think that it's only about the trades that you're in. You can learn a lot from trades that you're not in. And just by witnessing it firsthand and seeing this price action. It's one thing for me to analyze it after the fact, even though, in that hypothetical trade, I'm trying to ignore the fact that it would go to 14 plus. But just analyzing it after the fact is not the same as witnessing it live. If you have a choice, you ideally can witness it live. But at least when I teach after the fact, I can still tell you what indicators matter and what you should be taking away from it. So Brooks is probably the most successful IDXG trader that I know of. Where he grows his account from 5,000 to 25,000 on one trade. He takes half out, and now he's making another 6,000. So in a month, on this one stock, he's made $26,000. And he started with just $5,000 in pretty much his entire account, which is awesome. So just think about that potential next time somebody tells you that a penny stock is not good or trading these volatile stocks is not good. If you have strategy, if you have rules, if you have preparation in place, it can be very, very, very good. No different than me driving my Ferrari or my Lamborghini under the speed limit and paying attention to road signs and enjoying the view, enjoying my engine, enjoying Miami Beach. If you break the rules of the road, driving an exotic car can be very dangerous. And it's no different than if you are trading these stocks and you're disobeying the rules of the game. Namely, shorting a recent supernova on morning one of this low float madness with huge volume and expecting that the fundamentals all of a sudden are going to matter when every single indicator, if you use these indicators, is telling you don't actually short it, but consider buying it. Because even junk can run up, especially in December and January during the January effect. And I don't want you to ever forget that. When somebody makes a blanket ignorant statement that you should never buy trash and you should never buy these companies, you should smack them in their ignorant faces or tweet at them and say, you're just ignorant and narrow-minded, which they are. Many short sellers cannot see the other side. And I'm very fortunate because I've gone long. I've made millions on the long side. I've made millions on the short side. Now I talk to more traders around the world than probably anybody else in the world. And I see what's working. And only going short or only going long, if that works for you, that's great. But don't try to tell other people what they can and can't do, because what works for you might not work for somebody else. We all have different personalities and different strengths. And if you ignore a stock that goes from 4 to 14 and say that every single person buying it is just wrong, consider the fact that you might be wrong and you're missing out on these stocks that triple. It boggles my mind that short sellers truly believe that these are like sheep. These are idiots buying this stock. Even when they're making 20, 30, 50, 100, 500% on their money in a day, somehow they're still wrong. Money talks, okay? Bullshit walks. That's today's lesson. Again, leave the word, what was the word that I told you to write? I think it was education. Leave the word education if you watch this whole video and you understand the gist of it. Congrats to so many of you. I got to get some sleep.